My mind is part of God's mind. This is David. Thank you very much for your time. This will be quite an interesting and a little bit longer daily practice session, at least for my videos. I am very holy. As I share the peace of the world with my brothers, I begin to understand that this peace comes from deep within myself. The world I look upon has taken on the light of my forgiveness and shines forgiveness back at me. In this light, I begin to see what my illusions about myself kept hidden. I begin to understand the holiness of all living things, including myself, and their oneness with me. So this again, remember, in the last few days we've been talking about perception, and we've been working at shifting our perceptions from fear to love, from separation to oneness. And we've been talking about how the world looks like once you've shifted. So here it says, I am very holy. This is a perception about yourself. Do you see? It is now turning your perception about yourself to reflect reality, you know? And then it's starting to extend how your perception and about yourself, you know, and your peace within you starts to spread out. And of course, your forgiveness starts to spread out and then reflect back. Because remember, the inside and the outside are the same. And as this light comes, you start to see what you had hidden from yourself using your illusions. Remember the images blocking the reality? Once they fall away, you'll start to see what you've been hiding from yourself. Remember what we said, that the images are projections. You make them up in your brain from your perception, your wrong perception. But the minute you start falling into vision, this image making stops. The image making that has been projecting images that have been distracting you from reality, once they're no longer there, you will start to see reality. You will really truly see, now this is vision. And remember, we said that vision has nothing to do with your physical senses, your eyes, ears, and everything. It is of the mind, the right mind. But then remember, we also said that perception also is a construct of the brain in any case. Even though you think you're seeing with your eyes, those are just receiving some energetic activity. Remember what we said, filtering out 98 or more % of all of it, taking only roughly 2%, maybe 1%, taking it to your brain, and then using that little percentage to fire segments of your brain to construct an image within your brain. So vision is an aspect of the mind, but perception is also an aspect of the brain anyways. You see? So it's not that the miracle is not that complicated, really. It's super simple. The part of your brain that has been doing all this perception nonsense will stop, and the mind will show vision. You will still operate, because right now you might be thinking, hang on a second, so I don't understand. How is it that I don't bump into walls if I'm not really seeing the wall, if I'm actually reconstructing a wall in my brain? It's when you start to understand quantum physics and energy and what and whatever and vibrations and you know, the electron charges. It's a very a scientist in quantum physics can explain it to us very well, and it will make sense. That is not the point here. The point here is that it works, and it works that way. Okay. So I guess in a nutshell, what I'm trying to say is, perception happens in the brain, vision happens in the mind. So it's not like you're suddenly going to like stop seeing. I mean, your eyes are going to close and then you somehow... do you understand what I'm saying? It will work. Don't worry, it will work. And it's simpler than it appears to be. It's very simple. If you can sort of understand that, it's actually very simple. So don't worry. This sentence actually has practical meaning. We can even prove parts of it in science. Okay? Anyways, in this light, once vision replaces perception, you'll begin to see what you had kept hidden using your illusions, and you'll begin to understand the holiness of all living things. That includes trees and everything, you know. not just humans. And then you'll also see the oneness with you. Again, this reminds me of the revelation I had, which I've already spoken of. It was exactly like this. I saw the holiness in all things, like I said, and I felt one with everything. I didn't even feel. I could still see that there is a body that in other times I could have called me, and next to me actually was my mother, because she was in the car. It was during the day, it was an afternoon. I could see other cars out there, I could see trees, I could see the road. But what I'm saying is, even though this remained, they all felt as if I was one with them and they were one with me, as in we were the one same thing. The idea of me and a tree over there was still there, but I felt like we were one being rather than being separate beings, you see. And of course that holiness shimmering, came through. That was really cool. Okay, like I said, this is going to be a long one, so 2 more slides. Today's idea does not describe the way you see yourself now. It does, however, describe what vision will show you. It is difficult for anyone who thinks he is in this world to believe this of himself. Yet the reason he thinks he is in this world is because he does not believe it. So we've already talked about this in the previous slide. Excuse me. So, we've talked about this in the previous slide, luckily. I'll just like to look at the last sentence here. The reason he thinks he is in this world is because he does not believe it. Okay? It does, however, describe what vision will show you. It is difficult for anyone who thinks he is in this world to believe this of himself. This is interesting. I'm trying to find a way to really crystallize this in a simple sentence. Let's see. What he's talking about here is that it is your negative belief of yourself that causes you to think that you are in this world. In other words, you have thought of yourself as a limited blah blah blah. That is why you think you are in a world of limits blah blah blah. Your self-identity is creating the world you live in. That is a simple sentence I was looking for. The world you live in is a direct reflection of your self-identity. The identity you've built of yourself, including the beliefs that you have of yourself. That is what's making the world you live in. So the last slide. You will believe that you are part of where you think you are. So it extends one more time. You think you're in this world. And therefore you will also then believe that you are part of this world. There's a big difference. You can think you're in, let's say for example, you can travel to New York or Japan or whatever, be there, but no, you're not part of Japan. Like for me, I'm from Kenya. If I had to go to Tokyo, I know I'm in Tokyo, but I'm not part of Tokyo. But maybe somebody who was born, raised, and is 90 years old now, born in Tokyo and raised in Tokyo, to them, they are part of Tokyo and Tokyo is part of them. So that's the difference here. Yeah? And it's a major difference. You believe you are part of this world. Whereas if, there's a statement in the Bible in which Jesus says something like, be in this world but not of it. It's a very big statement. Most of us, the bulk of us actually, almost all of us, we are in this world and of this world. As in, we totally buy the BS, so to speak. We buy the illusion. Totally, we buy it. We buy the illusion, like we're completely convinced about it, that it's real. We believe the illusion is real. So in the Bible, Jesus says something like, be in this world but not of it. You can check it, you can Google it, you'll see it. I don't know where it is in the Bible, but I remember it's there somewhere. Be in this world but not of it. Check it. And also in the Bible, Jesus said, is it not said that ye are gods, that you are gods? And then he also says, you are my brother. be in this world but not of it. This is now back to this sentence. You will believe that you are part of where you think you are. Okay? But you can be here but not believe that you are part of it. Anyways, that is because you surround yourself with the environment you want, and you want it to protect the image of yourself that you have made. Let's read that whole thing again. You will believe that you are part of where you think you are. That is because you surround yourself with the environment you want, and you want it to protect the image of yourself that you have made. The image is part of this environment. What you see while you believe you are in it is seen through the eyes of the image. This is not vision. Images cannot see. Powerful, hey? The world that you live in, you have projected it to protect or to match the image you have made of yourself. Now, this image of yourself is the one that is part of the world that you have made, not you. Your self-image. I'll even call it the vehicle that you're driving in this world. Your self-image is part of this world. You have made the self-image. It's an image. The world around it is another image. You might not call it that way, but it's another image. The self-image and the image, the environment, the world around you is together. They are part of each other. Okay? Now, while you believe that you and your self-image are the same thing, you will see through the eyes of the image. Do you see what the problem is right there? Can you start to detect that? And this is not vision. This is called projection. Images cannot see. My mind is part of God's mind. Remember, this is the lesson for today. God's mind, or the Creator's mind, sees with vision. In effect, as long as you're looking through the world through your self-image, you're blind. But not that you're blind, you're just not seeing. You're not... Do you understand? How does this link with the topic of today? Let me try and find another simple sentence. The minute you stop making or buying into this self-image, automatically you revert to your natural state, whereby your mind is part of God's mind. In fact, it's an extension of the same. There is no separation between the two. And immediately, automatically, you will have vision, because that's your natural state. The only thing that's blocking your vision, and in quotes, making you blind to what reality is the image you have projected. The idea for today presents a very different view of yourself. By establishing your source, it establishes your identity, and it describes you as you must really be in truth. You see what I'm saying here now? Your source is not your self-image. Your source is your Creator. And you are one with it. And that is your true identity. This self-image is something you put together to perpetuate the idea of that part of your mind that believes it is separate from God's mind, or the Creator's mind, or your source's mind. Alright, that was nice and heavy. I enjoyed it. I hope you did. So thank you, and your exercises are down below, and see you tomorrow.